Hey friends, Scott Stevens here. I'm a film composer based in San Diego, and I love macros. Man, I just got turned on to quick keys, and especially when you have a lot of tasks that are repetitive, being able to just automate that stuff really gets you back to the creative work a lot faster. So let's check out the shortcut, and here we go. All right, friends, so today what we're trying to do is essentially rename all the files on the left and add the suffix NR for noise reduced. So I've opened Quick Keys. What you can see here is I'm checking to make sure I get my assignments right. I've selected a hotkey, and that's going to stay sticky until I press whatever the second one is, in this case 7, and then the shortcut will actually trigger when I release 7. So when doing a rename, you want to make sure that you create a little shortcut name for yourself that's going to make sense, and then when you add a step, you will click on File, and then it's Rename Files, and you can sort of set some parameters there. So in this case, we're just adding a suffix. The text that I want to add is NR, just to the end of the file. You may want to put an underscore before NR, depending on how you archive your files and what you want to see visually, but yeah, it's not a whole lot more complicated than that. At the top, you'll see I'm checking to make sure that I've limited the scope to Finder, so I'm not triggering this hotkey in or a quick key in every other program. It would suck to have a macro that's messing stuff up everywhere. That'd be chaos. So we limit the scope, and what you're seeing here is I'm just resetting the key within or the keystroke macro within the Finder. So let's give it a whirl. And there it goes. Boom, renamed. So this is Scott again, and the macro that I wanted to show you at the end of this video was just another one that I devised for renaming files. I showed you how to do the noise reduction, but this is essentially going to be correlating numeric values in file names to note values. So for instance, I started at C0 and went up to B1 in a Pro Tools session, and now have all these WAV files. And so with a keystroke, I can essentially rename all of these to the note names that they need to be. And there's certainly ways to automate a batch rename with a dynamic layer like an F or an MF or an MP at the end of the file. But for right now, let's just stick to the note names. So I'm going to go into Quick Keys. Okay, so I'm in Quick Keys. I'm going to load this. You'll notice that the scope at the top says Finder. Right now I'm just checking to make sure my hotkey stays sticky. That's good. The 6 is going to trigger everything when it releases. So here in the steps, I've essentially selected under File to find and replace characters. So in those fields at the bottom, you see find number 24 specified within the parentheticals or parentheses, and then it's going to replace it with B1. So I've done that for notes C0 to B1. Let's see if the keystroke works. Yep, there they go. So this can be a really, really helpful step if you're having to rename a ton of files. And granted, these all had numeric names, which Pro Tools kind of assigns by default. Certainly, that's not the only way to do it. You can batch rename files within Pro Tools. I just found that this macro worked for me within Finder. So yeah, think about your workflow, what you need to do, where you need to put stuff. There are macros for sending off batches of files to specific folders. You can map this stuff to do a keystroke and then wait for you to click on a submenu if you've opened something within like a plugin or another window in Pro Tools or some other DAW. So it goes pretty deep. Yeah, definitely. If any of you have creative ideas and ways that you're using Quick Keys with your DAW, feel free to share them in the comments section. I hope that this was helpful. I'll try and put little tutorials in the comments section as well.